Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of News Round for Anfield Index. It genuinely feels about 80,000 years since Liverpool played a game, doesn't it? Of any type, never mind just the Premier League, but it's all back this week, people, isn't it? Plenty to be excited about, plenty to look forward to. I'm your normal host, Dave Davis, coming to you from a pretty sunny Edinburgh, it's got to be said. It's quite nice out there. So fingers crossed, wherever you are in the world, it is good weather and you're looking forward to a good week. Because I know Monday's not always our favourite day, but plenty to look forward to in this one. And we start, as we always do, with that question of how are we? And I'm excited because it just feels like we've been in the eye of the storm, doesn't it? It's just dragged on for eternity, this international break. And maybe it's because of the Carabao and what happened just before. But also, I don't know about you, it feels like it's been needed. This feels like we needed it as a fan base. Maybe the players needed it as well. Just the chance to go away, see the pals in the national camp. For us, just a chance to have a break, refresh, ready for the run-in. And I make absolutely zero apologies when I say this and put this on the screen. Why wouldn't we be excited when we're talking about how are we? We are 12 points clear in the Premier League with 9 games to go. We can still register 97 points. Arsenal and Lego Ed are tracking at exactly 2 points a game. So if you add their points to that, which I think is 9 left, 18 on top of that, takes them to 76. I actually think they'll have a decent run in. Maybe I'm wildly wrong on that. But yeah, it sounds strange, but literally one full grasp on the title. So we should all be buzzing. We should be looking to get back to it all. And if you look at certain things, this is crazy to say, but you know, it's been manic all season and we've had this crazy period. This is the last week Liverpool will play 2 a week. That's when you know it's late in the season. It's the last week we'll play 2 in a week. Everton on Wednesday night under the lights at Anfield and Fulham away on Sunday, the 6th of April, 2 o'clock. If you look from then, it's just the 1 game a week, isn't it? In what should hopefully, touch wood, fingers crossed, be a procession to the title. But yeah, if you can't be buzzing for this week, if you can't be buzzing for the build up to the derby, if you can't be buzzing for Arne Slot back in front of the cameras, 10 o'clock tomorrow, that's his press conference, you would bet your house Vinny O'Connor, Sky Sports, first question out of his mouth, Trent. If anyone will take me up on that in the chat panel, will they? So, yeah, there is a million and one things to look forward to this week. Literal news this morning as well, straight out the gate. Liverpool, as we tweeted, as the story was released at 8 a.m. this morning, pre-season, we will head to Asia for this year's pre-season tour, kicking off by playing AC Milan in Hong Kong, China, followed by a first ever summer visit to Japan. I always like when these things are announced because it shows me that they're putting plans in place. Sometimes it's come in our history, and Jurgen Klopp had mentioned it, too many things come on the docket last minute. It feels like they're planning it, they're thinking about what they're doing, which is fine. Also, I think it's great for fans in Asia, isn't it? Hong Kong, China, Japan. And it's great when Liverpool go out to America. It's great when they go out to Singapore. It's great when they go out to Australia. All these locations where these fans don't get to see their heroes up close quite often. So I always think that's a brilliant thing to see. And people will be cynical on this. I completely get. People have already been tweeting about shirt sales. Well, of course it's going to link to the commercial element. Of course they're doing it because it's money in the bank. Do we not want that though? Do we not want to see that money? And people will jump on me for this. Taken in, invested in certain ways. Of course we do. Absolutely. The interesting thing that people have tweeted which I hadn't really thought about until sort of half an hour ago, until I saw a few reactions around it. Endo. Because Endo's been used in some of the promotional videos along with Alexis McAllister already. And if you had to bet, I think most of us have got Endo departing for the summer. But you do just wonder the fact that if you look at the dates on this specifically as well, it's quite late in July. Well, yeah, suspicion around, and people have tweeted it. It's a fair question to ask. Will Endo be here? Because naturally, the captain of Japan, an absolute hero in Asia, a hero to me, the man that puts in a gum shield and just tackles everything that breathes. We'll be interested to see if he's around for this one. Hey ho, we'll see what develops. That's well into the future to debate. This one is not. There's right back questions. And if you think, as it stands, for awareness, many people think Jarell Quansah will be at right back for the Merseyside Derby. So that's the first thing. Trent, and we'll have to talk about Trent, I'm afraid, for those that are trying to avoid it. Injury, we know it, as James Pearce's article related to. April, he's back. Will he come back before the end of the season with something else? Yeah, that's on the docket as well. But the big one that came up yesterday from quite a few sources, praise be to Baby Moses, let this be true, that Connor Bradley is back and has been back in training since Wednesday. Naturally, we're waiting for official confirmation of that, but there's quite a few different sites, different people have said this. How good would that be? Now, we'd have to be super careful with Connor Bradley because if you think it's a couple of hamstring injuries, isn't it? Muscle injuries already. There's only a small run in. So even if he has been back since Wednesday, and I'm not doubting this, the sources that have said it, please, that's not being derogatory about them. We've just not had it officially confirmed. If he is back since Wednesday, what chances would you give him of starting? An outside one, but we don't want to break Connor Bradley if this is true and he's just come back. So if we can get him maybe half an hour in the derby, I was thinking, just as it sits on my head right now, but then you can play him in Fulham. It would be great to see him get a bit of a run till the end of the season, especially because we kind of got a feeling of what's happening at the moment elsewhere. And it's right to talk about this. This has been one of the big stories. People still bring in theories on this. What did that Mo Salah Instagram story mean? Where there's Ibu, Szoboszlai, Trent in the corner. And it does look like Trent's house, quite a few people have said, and Mo all talking, with all of them looking, it's only a few seconds, this clip, at Trent Alexander-Arnold. What does that mean? Maybe it means nothing. Maybe it's Mo Salah, as I said yesterday, just sort of tweeting in regards to, unity. But we'll see. It's that question which I think summarises the week coming up. Will we get updates on certain things? Will we get any updates around Trent? And before people say, hold on, no, it's all about a focus for football. I get that. But the cat's out of the bag a little now, isn't it? As David Ornstein, Paul Joyce, etc., everyone's written about Trent, that Real Madrid contract. Arne Slot's going to be asked about it, and I'm sure he'll straight bat it away. But the horse has bolted. Yeah, whatever platitude you care to use. So it's understandable people may be thinking, will we get an update on that? And I think if you're honest about the temperature of the fan base, a lot of them would think, should we just get that over and done with a little bit? I'm kind of feeling that way. If he's going, let's just whatever, move on, etc. Maybe we'll get an update on that. Maybe we'll get an update on this big story that broke on Saturday, that Liverpool's owners, FSG, and it was a David Ornstein bomber, wasn't it, are exploring the purchase of Spanish club Malaga, looking to buy a 51% stake. Now, as it says in this article, and a few others have mentioned, it seems like the Qatari owners of PSG are also in the mix. But Liverpool have sent a delegation in February, which they kept under the radar, didn't they, completely? I don't mind that. It'd be good if we could still operate in the shadows that way and just things could break late on. That sort of thing does hearten me a little bit as a fan. That's why names, deals, etc., for various things, like clubs, players, more importantly, can come from nowhere. So it's right to ask these questions. Will we get updates on the Trent situation? Will we get updates on FSG and that potential move? Will we get an update, which we're hoping is positive, around Connor Bradley and his availability for the Merseyside Derby and going forward? And naturally, as has been the key theme, I think it's fair to say, with this international break, will we get updates around transfers and links? Thinking who's the latest name I've seen trending this morning? Hugo Ekitike, the Frankfurt and French forward, seems to be a name in the mix, doesn't he? I think I'd understand that one. I'd be very, very surprised if he isn't on the list. Yeah, player that matches a lot of the data. There's probably a few things and concerns, and people seem to be debating this all over social media. But yeah, we'll see what else may bring. Will we get updates on transfers ultimately? Will be one thing. Johnson was asking there, would you play Nunes in the derby? I would. I don't know just yet, John, to be honest. I'm still swilling around that lineup a bit, and I'll probably see what Arne Slot says on Tuesday more than anything. That will be the key thing. We don't know we're hoping, touch wood, there's no one injured, everyone's back, everyone is well rested from international duty. Because before people jump on this, yeah, Grav went early. We think that was precautionary. We still want to hear that said, don't we, by Arne Slot. We still want to hear that, yeah, Alisson was just there. We suspect all this is true, but you want to hear it from the main man. And shout out to Neil there. Morning from Ireland. Good morning, Neil. Morning wherever you are in the world, ladies and gents, if you're watching or listening. So yeah, we will see what we get updates on. AI content, it's almost nice to be back in the groove. So this week will be all your normals. There'll be double raw, won't there? After the Everton game, after the Fulham game. There'll be UP with the lads as normal this week. There'll be transfer market metrics coming for you. There'll be all the normal shows. In a way, it's great to be back in the normal routine. But even in the last 24 hours for you, content out the hole. Look at this. Mohamed Amora, we profiled him on transfer market metrics. An interesting one, maybe a data one to scour over. Me and Trev talked about it as well at length in the transfer show. Could this be, and people are going to jump on this, aren't they? War chest, blah, blah, blah. The FSG out brigade will say, we've heard this all before. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but the potential signings. Chat G&G, they did that the other night. Gags and Grizz, so well worth a listen to what they had to say. I know Dave talked about the potential new left backs and who that could be. And then even this morning, Martin Fernandez, that was a player that me and Bart ran on TMM. Portuguese youngster, could be available for a very, very good price. Good relationship with Porto. A right back, if you didn't know, I'm sure you did, a name that's developed recently. Well worth a watch of that. So if you got time today in the week, plenty of content for you there. It's just good to be back in the routine. And as Neil says there, I think if we come out battling against Everton and get a win, it'll settle the rest of the running. I think that's a really fair point, Neil. I think we're going to win it. I've no doubt, but put serious money on us going to win it. But this feels quite big, this game, because it is, if you're honest about it, it is the main focus for this week. It's Everton under the lights. It's the derby at Anfield. It's also, I'm thinking this, a bit of payback for that 2-2. You saw when Tarkowski hit that volley and it was 2-2 and they burst the boards. That was it. You have to take your medicine sometime, but you wanted revenge for that. You especially wanted revenge for Doucouré and the way he behaved. And Curtis Jones will be chomping at the bit to start in this one. I mean, we should have really organised the GoFundMe for whatever fine he got at all. But yeah, there's a lot where people will be like, right, they already marked this one in their diaries. And if Liverpool move to 73 points, which you hope, it does feel like it does just settle the rest of the running a little bit. Arsenal, I mean, they're playing Fulham. I expect them to win that. Poor people say, they're struggling, nothing to guarantee for them. If you think about Arsenal and Fulham, more importantly, Fulham went out, didn't they, to Crystal Palace? I mean, I'm hoping they're just ready to get their flip-flops on. Because if you're deadly honest, I mean, they've got a shot at Europe. They are 8th, but I think they'll lose to Arsenal, and then that'll be like flip-flop mode. I hope, because we've got them on Sunday, haven't we? Big week, ladies and gents. Premier League football is back. This is the very last week of the season where Liverpool play 2 a week. Yeah? Double press conference, double Raw, UP, all your normal shows. Even today, we got Media Matters with David Lynch about 1 o'clock, to keep an eye out for that. It is right to be excited. It's right to be excited because, just in case you carry any doubt, there is a Premier League title to be won. Just let that wash over you on Monday. But there we go. Monday, the 31st of March, on the verge of April, on the verge of a huge month. That was another news round